Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a good day. Let's get into the predictions and breakdown of UFC 307, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Now, this card definitely has a lot of good fights on it, but this is taking place in Salt Lake City, Utah. That is home to some of the most depressing and just outright insane moments in UFC history. So basically, it's guaranteed that we're going to have some pretty vicious knockouts on this card. So at least it's going to be entertaining from that point. So without further ado, let's get into this card, kicking it off with the first fight of Tim Means versus McGee. Now, when it comes to Tim Means, he is the one that I'm really going to be favoring in this fight. I mean, he's just got much more accurate striking. He's stronger on the feet. And even though he got shinned very badly by Medic, he's just overall just a lot faster than McGee. McGee's definitely better on the ground. He's got a definitely better wrestling base. He's better with his jiu-jitsu, very good with his jiu-jitsu, 8-0. But we look at their fights with Alex Morono. This is a matchup that they've both had that has been in recent times. Tim Means, obviously, he's the one that got finished out of the two of them, but he looked a lot better in terms of just standing on the feet and actually giving Morono something to deal with. Morono was able to dictate the pace completely against McGee, whereas Tim Means was actually able to pressure him back and actually able to outland him at points. He was actually faster than him on the feet. And Morono is a guy, especially at that time, on a bit of a win streak. You know, he's not as old as these guys as well. And if we're matching these two up together, they both train at elevation. So you've got Tim Means, who trains in Albuquerque, and then you've got McGee, who trains out of Utah, literally where the fight's taking place. So when it comes to cardio, there's not going to be too much of an issue differentiating between the two that I can really see. So that's where I think Tim Means is really going to be able to just dictate the pace, outstrike, and just really pressure out McGee in this fight. McGee's best chance is obviously getting a submission here, but his takedown offense is not great statistically. He lands pretty much like a quarter of the takedowns that he attempts. It's not that great. And Tim Means, better striking accuracy, just better overall statistics on the feet. He's got KO power as well. He's just definitely a finisher in general. So I'm much more confident in taking Tim Means, but McGee is very durable. You have to give him that. When it comes to the striking, like, he does leave himself open, especially against Morono. When it came to the straight strikes against him, he's not very good in that sense, but he does have a chin. He hasn't been finished that many times in comparison to the amount of fights that he's actually had. But yeah, I just don't see him being able to really give Tim Means a lot to deal with unless he can take him down early and really drag him out, put pressure on him, ground and pound him. But I just see Tim Means as too fast, too quick to the punch coming into that first round. So I'm gonna take Tim Means by a unanimous decision win here. And moving up the card, Ryan Spann versus Ovince Preux. So OSP, he's 41 years old now. He's getting on. Got to give credit to him though. He beat Kennedy Nzechukwu in his last fight by a split decision, which I think he won that fair and square, but he was a 5-1 underdog in that fight. Ovince Preux did a fantastic job of maintaining composure, striking only when he needed to, didn't let his gas tank go. And that, in this fight, could be an absolute killer, because Ryan Spann, on the other side, he is a guy that struggles with his gas tank, and the elevation could seriously kill him. Like, honestly, Ryan Spann, if he does not play this game right and does not use a proper fight IQ, he could get taken out by Ovince Preux without a doubt. And Ryan Spann, also, he is on out of his last 3 fights, he's lost all 3 of them. He was looking good a couple years ago, you know, really building up a bit of a win streak, but now he's lost by submission, he's lost by split decision, he's lost by KO TKO. There's a lot for him to prove. His confidence would be low at the moment, but I just don't see Ovince Preux really having the proper threat to take Ryan Spann out unless his cardio drains completely. So I am going to be taking Ryan Spann in this fight. Granted, his fight IQ is there. He paces himself and he finds that window to take OSP out. OSP does have a suspect chin. He's obviously got 5 KO TKO losses, and a lot of them are revolving around this part in his career. In his last 5 or 6 fights, 3 losses by KO TKO. So Ryan Spann, that's something that he really can take advantage of. And if he gets off to a quick start, a good start, that's when he is severely dangerous. And Ryan Spann, he's definitely more just overall, he's just got the power. He's got the power over Ovince Preux, and the speed. The speed is the big issue there in the striking exchanges. I mean, we saw what Ryan Spann did to Dominic Reyes. Pretty simple there. I mean, that was just with a power jab. So Ovince Preux being chinny, there's a possibility there. He can definitely get taken out. Now, Ovince Preux, he's more accurate. He does use like a lower combination-based striking style, but that's where his style is just so much more economic. And it's not only with him getting older. Back in like 2015 odd, when he was really more so in that prime age range where he was fighting for the title, he was similar to that style anyway. He's always been kind of an economic based striking fighter. Now Ryan Spann, I honestly do think that he's not going to have that real concern of Ovince Preux having the arsenal there to just take him out. Ryan Spann isn't just going to get absolutely slumped by Ovince Preux. I'd strongly believe that that's not going to happen. So I just think with the strike speed, the age especially, the KO power that Spann has, and honestly having the chip on his shoulder from losing, I think it's just that time where he's going to come out of it. I do think that it's going to have to be early though. I think that if it drags anywhere near the 3rd round, Ovince Preux with his style, doesn't matter how old he is, Ryan Spann's going to be in trouble. He's been in trouble every single 3rd round he's bloody been in if it gets there. Spann does have a pretty bad cardio issue, especially if people are wrestling him. Ovince Preux isn't too much of an issue in that department. Obviously, he's got jiu-jitsu on his side. But yeah, so does Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann's 12-3 with submissions. So I just don't see the arsenal from Ovince Preux there. I think Ryan Spann probably start of the 2nd round. I think he starts getting a bit warm in the 1st. I think he lands a bit of damage on Ovince Preux with the strike speed. Then I think coming into the 2nd, I think he lands a good shot down the pipe, takes him down, and then gets the TKO finish. Moving up the card, Carla Esparza versus Tecia Pennington. Now, this was one of the hardest fights to pick from out of the whole entire card, because both of these guys are definitely in weird situations in their careers at the moment. Carla Esparza, obviously, she's taken a couple years off and she hasn't actually properly won a fight in about 3 years since Yan Xiaonan, because no one in their right mind, no one's nan's dog, no one's mum's cat is saying that Carla Esparza's win over Rose Namajunas was a validated win. No chance, because nothing absolutely happened and everyone fell asleep. Now, on the positive side, Carla Esparza statistically is an underdog. She does have pretty good outcomes as an underdog, and she is an underdog in this fight. And the biggest thing for her, without a doubt, is her base, her wrestling base, in combination with the elevation, because pure wrestlers, they have the best cardio base in MMA. You look at Kamaru Usman at UFC 278 against Leon Edwards before he got decapitated. He lost no stamina for 4.5 rounds. Consistent wrestling, just grinding, and he didn't slow down. And Carla Esparza has that very similar type of game. She's a pure wrestling pedigree, and she has pretty relentless takedowns. She is a grinder style fighter, and that's found her a lot of success in the UFC and allowed her to become a champion at 1-2 points. And ultimately, look, it's definitely something that Tecia Pennington's going to have to look out for. But in that case, Carla Esparza and Tecia Pennington have fought before. They fought in an exhibition fight in the Tough series when they were first coming into the UFC, which Carla Esparza won because of the wrestling. And Tecia, on the other side, she is someone that is also kind of heading to the end of her career. Carla Esparza, we know, this is her last fight. Tecia, I wouldn't be surprised if this is her last fight as well. But Tecia, she just has a very, very good striking base, just very aggressive, consistent, just high pace fight style. And going against someone like Carla Esparza, who isn't naturally the best on the feet anyway, and has taken these 3 years off basically, Tecia is going to be going in there with a lot of confidence, and she's got the chip on her shoulder from losing to Carla Esparza in the first place. Now, Tecia, with her striking, she lands at a much better clip. She's got a higher volume. She's just got a better striking base overall. She's got the karate style, front leg side kick, a lot of good lateral and linear movement around the cage on the outside, which is good against wrestlers like Carla Esparza, especially while having such a low base. They're both 5'1", so getting all the way down, dropping all the way down past the hips, against someone like Tecia, who has improved the takedown defense leaps and bounds since they last fought, is going to be difficult. And not to mention the experience. Obviously, Carla's fought at the top of the game, but if we're talking about recency, Tecia has fought good competition. I mean, she's fought Mackenzie Dern, which she went to a split decision with, which was arguable either way for sure. It was a very competitive fight. And then we had the fight against Tabatha Ricci, which I think she definitely won, which she lost by split decision. She lost both by split decision, but I definitely think she beat Tabatha Ricci. Look, going into this fight, Carla Esparza being out for so long and Tecia fighting these younger, hungrier fighters, honestly, I think Tecia's getting this one done. I think that she's going to be able to get this done by a split decision. Even though Esparza's been out for a long time, you can't count out that wrestling pedigree, and I think she's going to give Tecia a bit of trouble early on, but then I think Tecia's striking game is just going to carry over. And I don't think with Tecia, she's got such a good pace consistently with the cardio as well. I don't think the elevation is going to cause her any issues. So I'm taking her by a split decision win in this fight. Moving up the card, Alexander Hernandez versus Austin Hubbard. Now, this is going to be my first underdog pick of this card, and I'm giving it to Hubbard. And I'm confident about this because I don't think Hernandez is that good. Hernandez he's strong, he's explosive, but he's not consistent to save his life. He doesn't have consistent KO power. His submission threat isn't there. He has pretty poor takedown defense. His grappling transitions are pretty poor, and his chin isn't that great either. Now, Hubbard isn't the best of the best by any means, and he hasn't had as good as experience and consistent experiences as Hernandez has. But Hubbard, just in recent times, has looked a lot better than Alex Hernandez has. And I mean, Alex Hernandez, to be fair, he got chucked into the deep end pretty hard. I mean, he knocked out Beneil Dariush and then just got fed to the wolves from there. And Austin Hubbard, he's done the right thing in terms of, he got cut before, gone through tough, and he's come back out and he's looked good since coming out of the Ultimate Fighter. Obviously, he lost in the finale, but since then, he's actually looked fairly decent. He looked decent against Figlak as well. I think Hernandez, there's not really that much that I think that he's going to offer. He's strong, he does have some power, but him getting to that point where he can make sure it actually lands, it's going to be a different story, because Hubbard's very good at timing his shots, getting good body shots off. He was very good at using those against Figlak, and he's better with his takedown timing, and statistically on the feet, he's just more accurate. And he's more accurate with his striking, he's more accurate with his entries. Just on a statistical analysis basis, Hubbard is the better fighter here to take. I mean, Hubbard, I think he'll just dictate the pace extremely well. He'll mix up his game very well, and I think that that's just where he's just going to overwhelm Hernandez and just make him mistime his strikes and his entries, and then Hubbard's just going to take complete advantage of that and get his own, and that's where I think he's just going to carry through the 15 minutes and get that unanimous decision. Moving up the card, Ihor Potieria versus Cesar Almeida. Potieria, he has the MMA experience on his side, but that's probably it. If he doesn't have the ability to get Cesar Almeida to the ground, this is going to be a nightmare for him, and I don't think he has that ability.
Cesar has a pretty decent takedown defense overall, considering how long he's been in MMA. And honestly, even though he's 36, he's just getting better and better and better. And the biggest issue, the elephant in the room here, is his kickboxing level. He's a very high level kickboxer, an Alex Pereira level kickboxer. He fought him and beat him, and he fought very competitively against Roman Kopylov, who, if Roman Kopylov was going to fight Potieria, I would be confident he would murder Potieria. So I am very confident that Cesar Almeida is going to take this fight, ground game or not. He's just on the feet. He's just so much more accurate, and he doesn't have a big reach disadvantage either. Obviously, Ihor Potieria is a bit taller, but Cesar Almeida just doesn't have to worry about that length there, and Almeida's just got extremely good striking overall. Just great rips to the body, just hits low to set up high, and I think that that's exactly what he's going to do against Potieria. I think he's going to land some really nice shots to the body, make him cave down a bit, and when it comes to that height and where he can land those shots, Cesar Almeida is going to clip him straight on the chin, and I think he is going to end hit pretty brutally by KO towards the end of the first round. I think the striking caliber is just, in contrast, way too different, way better in Cesar Almeida's favor for him to win this fight. Moving up the card, Marina Rodriguez versus Yasmin Lucindo. Now, this is an interesting fight because Marina Rodriguez, she is a very good fighter. She is very good, very clean with her striking, and she's good against a lot of opposition, many different types of opposition. She's shown that consistently. She's very hard to finish, but she does have an issue against specific types of fighters, like a Jessica Andrade type of fighter, like an Amanda Lemos type of fighter. And there's another fighter that's exactly like them, and she's on the screen. It's Yasmin Lucindo. Very similar, very aggressive, got a lot of KO power. And Yasmin Lucindo is someone that is just very good at constantly pressuring while also keeping the opposition guessing by stance switching and using her strength against the cage. Now, Marina Rodriguez, she's very good in the clinch, and she does have a good jab. So she's good at short and long range, but the thing that she doesn't like is being backed up against the cage in boxing range, where she can't really move and she gets overwhelmed, because she's not someone that has a heap of power. She's more of a volume type striker. And Yasmin Lucindo, she's got a chin, she's got a lot of KO power, she's got momentum, she's got a lot going for her at the moment. She's definitely dangerous, and it definitely makes sense why she's getting this fight, to be honest. Fighting the 6th ranked fighter to them and being the 14th ranked, it's a huge opportunity for her. And I think she's the type of fighter that's not going to let it slip. She's also got the reach advantage here as well. And also, when it comes to the ground game, she's actually been improving drastically from the regional scene all the way through to the UFC in terms of how she actually manages to get the fight to the ground. Honestly, I think that she will be able to get this fight to the ground. And Marina Rodriguez is good at defending submissions, but getting back up against someone that is aggressive is an issue. And I feel like Lucindo will be able to really dictate the pace when it comes to that ground game. And I think she's just going to ultimately burn the energy out of Rodriguez with the amount of just pressure, onslaught that she's going to bring on, because she's going to be hungry for that 6th spot without a doubt, because it's going to put her so close to title contention. And look, Marina Rodriguez, you can't completely count her out. I pretty much pick her in all the fights up until this fight, to be honest. I picked her against Jessica Andrade in UFC 300, but I just think that Lucindo just has a bit too much going for her that is really going to stress Rodriguez out, especially at this point in her career. When she's 37 years old, she is slowing down. But I will say, I think Marina Rodriguez, I think that she will be able to get the better of the 3rd round, because I think Lucindo, when it comes to the cardio, I think that she's going to gas out a bit. Obviously with the elevation, I think that she's going to put so much pressure on, really trying to take Rodriguez out. Rodriguez is durable. She keeps herself safe. She's got pretty good defense. But I think just the damage overall is going to get it done for Lucindo in the 1st and 2nd round. And then I think Rodriguez will take the 3rd round, just really dictating the pace with the jab and just outworking Lucindo in that 3rd round. But I just think it'll be too little too late, and Lucindo is going to get into that single-digit ranking. Now moving on to the feature prelim, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. This is an epic fight that's been made. I'm very happy that this fight has been made. Obviously would rather Wonderboy versus MVP, but I mean, Joaquin Buckley has been showing up. When he's been in that welterweight division, he has been showing up. So you have to give it credit where credit's due. He needs a top 10 fight, without a doubt. No, he was not going to get Conor McGregor after that stupid call out. Lewis versus Nascimento fight night, no chance. This, honestly, he should just be taking what he can get. He didn't even finish Rizaboyev, so yeah, this is his ultimately this is his chance. He's got a chance to beat the best striker in that whole entire division. Now, that's easier said than done, because Wonderboy, if he can maintain the takedown defense that he did against Shovkat, I think he can get this done, and ultimately, I think that Wonderboy, as the underdog, I think he can get it done. I'm very confident in him. I mean, proof in the pudding. You look at his career. He is a fantastic striker. He's faced a lot of adversity with a lot of wrestlers, and he's faced a lot better wrestlers than Joaquin Buckley is. And I think we're going to get a wet blanket Buckley in this fight, because there's no chance that Buckley is just consistently going to want to stay on the feet with Wonderboy Thompson, especially if Wonderboy gets going. Because even though Buckley's got the KO power, he's got the explosiveness, and yes, he could chin Thompson without a doubt. It's just the technical capabilities, the caliber of Thompson is just so much different in terms of levels. Like, he is just levels above. His striking, his timing, especially his counter striking. Buckley leaves himself so open when he goes into those aggressive exchanges. I mean, Alex Morono caught him multiple times coming in welterweight, and we won't even get into middleweight. He just got brutalized at middleweight. And if you're doing that against someone like Wonderboy, who doesn't necessarily have the best KO power in the world, but someone that is that precise, could get chinned. And honestly, I think it's going to happen. I think Wonderboy is going to be able to take out Buckley. I think he's going to get a TKO in the third round. Joaquin Buckley hasn't fought anyone near the caliber of striking that Wonderboy is. I mean, he's fought Nasruddin Imavov. Aside from him, there's not really anyone close. And Nasruddin Imavov was running circles around Buckley. So, yeah, Wonderboy, I honestly do think if he is on, he is on. I think that counter striking, especially the leg reach advantage as well, having a 2 to 3 inch leg reach, using the front legs just to absolutely destroy Buckley when he's coming in, especially ripping the body and then going downstairs, coming up top, just putting on something like the Kevin Holland based performance. I think is going to be a huge issue. Honestly, I think Buckley can definitely, cause Wonderboy a bit of trouble in the first round, but Buckley's not going to submit Thompson. And he's going to have to take Thompson out on the ground, but Thompson is no slouch on the ground himself. Like, he's very good. He's just drilled over the years and years and years. He's drilled how to keep himself safe. He kept himself safe against Rachmaninoff for a decent amount of time. Didn't get finished by Gilbert Burns on the ground. Didn't get finished by Bilal. I don't even know if I really need to say that, but still, didn't get finished. And yeah, I just don't see Buckley being able to do anything different to what those guys did, because they're better on the ground than he is. So if Buckley's going to get this done, it's got to be an absolute cracking KO in an exchange. Just catch him clean and just absolutely fold Thompson like a lawn chair. Easier said than done. Not putting my money on that. I have Thompson really stuffing the takedowns in the second, and then, weathering the storm in the first, stuffing the takedowns in the second, getting a bit of momentum going. Third round, he really starts popping off. Buckley, with all that muscle, that dense muscle, the cardio is going to wane in the third round because of the altitude, and then Thompson is going to just absolutely pop off and take him out in the third round by a TKO finish. Now, moving on to the main card, we have Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Trailblazer, big yappa Kevin Holland. I think Kevin Holland's going to win this. I honestly do, and I honestly think Dolidze shouldn't be in middleweight. I think that's one of my really big, blatant reasons. Dolidze's 36 years old now. 36. And he looked good at light heavyweight. Last time he fought in middleweight against Imavov, he got the absolute shit kicked out of him. He was getting brutalized. Now, Kevin Holland and Imavov aren't the same fighter. But I'm going to say, I think Kevin Holland has more KO power potential. I mean, he's 13-1 with KOs. His submissions are getting up there as well. Almost pretty much ripped Olajaychuk's arm off in his last fight. And look, Roman Dolidze, granted, I don't think he should be in middleweight. I think he should be at light heavyweight, but he is not finishable so far. He hasn't been finished at all. He's lost by decision 3 times, and I don't know how he didn't get finished by Imavov. It was very impressive. But being 36, taking that damage that he did, and Kevin Holland really improving on his takedown defense these days, especially over the last couple of years after he was getting slated, I honestly think in combination with that, the KO power and the submissions there's a lot for Roman to deal with. And Roman is slowing down more and more as fights go on. I mean, he looked on par with Anthony Smith in the fight that when he fought him. Kevin Holland is a shit ton quicker than he is. So yeah, I'm confident Kevin Holland is probably going to get this done by a KO TKO finish. I think that he is going to be the first one to take out Roman Dolidze. He just hits at a better clip. He's much more accurate with his striking. He stuffs the takedowns. Dolidze isn't actually the best at securing takedowns overall. He's good when he's on the ground, very good at smothering. But you got to remember, Kevin Holland also has very long legs. There's triangles there that are there for the opportunity. There's obviously arm bars too. And ultimately, just with the accuracy and that power there, I think it's just a matter of time before he finds the finish. And I think he's going to find it in the second round. Moving up the card, Ketlen Vieira versus Kayla Harrison. Now, this is pretty clear on this card, I feel like. I mean, you look at the odds, it's pretty safe to say. I think this is just realistically a setup for Kayla Harrison. I just don't really see many areas where Ketlen Vieira can really take advantage of her in this fight. Ketlen Vieira, she's not bad in the clinch. She's got decent elbows. She's pretty good at just dirty boxing. But the issue is, with that being, aside from her jiu-jitsu, that being the best part of her game, Kayla Harrison has the judo to completely combat the clinch-based striking. Any of that striking is getting thrown out the window, like Vieira is getting hip-tossed across the whole entire canvas. It's just a matter of time before that happens. Kayla Harrison is just getting funneled towards the title. And look, I honestly am very confident in this fight, in this matchup, that Kayla Harrison will take this, but it's just a matter of how she's going to take it. But with that judo and with Ketlen Vieira's BJJ base, it's easier said than done to go for the submission, and Kayla obviously risking submission over position could be very dangerous. That's one of the worst things that she could do, and Vieira could catch her. There is that possibility. I mean, we saw Pena catch Amanda Nunes, so you just never know. But I just don't see Kayla Harrison taking any form of risk in this fight. I think they get into a striking exchange. I think Kayla Harrison lands a very nice clean shot. Vieira doesn't like it. She clinches to go to the part of the game that she likes the most. Try to get a couple shots off in the clinch. Kayla Harrison just hip tosses her straight to the ground, straight into side control. Gets into a side saddle and then just starts absolutely beating the shit out of her on the ground. I just think she's just going to piece her up on the ground. Elbows from side saddle, possibly get into a crucifix mount position, and just absolutely take her out. I think it's going to be, honestly, I actually don't think, there's going to be very specific, just you don't take my word for it, but I honestly think that it could be in round 2. She gets this done, she gets the hip toss, gets it to the ground, starts just smashing her to bits, but I think she makes it to the third round. But between the second and the third round, I think there's just going to be so many deep cuts on Vieira that it's just going to be too much, and I think they're going to call the fight Benoit Saint Denis style. I think they're going to call the fight doctor stoppage, round 2, 5 minutes, round 2 to 3. They will call the fight based on cuts, doctor stoppage, and it'll be done from there, and Kayla Harrison will be getting the title fight. Moving up the card, Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. This is a great fight. One of, if not the best fights on the whole entire card. I mean, the striking caliber of these guys, it's just going to be incredible, because Jose Aldo, I mean, we don't really need to say much about him. His career just speaks for itself. Featherweight, bantamweight, doesn't matter. He is a fantastic fighter, fantastic striking, great takedown defense, brutal leg kicks. He is just a top competitor regardless. But Mario Bautista, now, if you haven't already checked out my underrated fighters in every division video, this guy hits my bantamweight. So definitely check that video out. I talk a lot more about him than I will here, so I'll leave that in the description. But Mario Bautista is a guy that can cause a lot of issues. This guy is 8-2 in the UFC at the moment. He lost to Trevin Jones. He got KO'd by him, but aside from that, he only lost to Corey Sandhagen. When it comes to his game overall, he has very good striking. He is extremely fast. Honestly, I think that he is fast, probably faster than Jose Aldo, to be honest. And I think unlike Jonathan Martinez, I think he's actually got the tools to get this done, because him being well-rounded with that very clean striking, not as clean as Aldo. Aldo has better combinations, but Bautista is faster and he actually lands at a higher clip than Aldo does. And along with that, the ground game. Now, it's questionable because Bautista has a very good arsenal in terms of ways of getting the fight to the ground. He's got single legs, he's got double legs, he's able to trip in the clinch, he's got suplex takedowns, he's got a lot of different ways of getting it there. But if he's able to get Jose Aldo into a position where he can take him down, that's going to be the difference there. Now, that's where I think this fight is extremely hard to pick, because if Bautista can't, then it comes to the feet. Now, can Bautista keep up the speed for 3 rounds against Aldo? With Bautista's strike defense, I think he can. I think he can, because Bautista just needs to make sure that he's not getting clipped to the body. If he's getting clipped to the body and Jose Aldo just gets consistent, that's when that's Aldo's key to victory, without a doubt, is the body shots, the rips to the liver, 100%, because he needs to slow this down as fast as possible. Let's be honest here. He's 38 years old now. He hasn't got a lot of time left, and fighting at elevation is not great at 38, no matter who you are. Now, Bautista, he's 31. He's in his prime age range, very versatile. And that's where I think he's going to get it done. I think it honestly could even be a split decision. It's going to be very close. But I think he's that guy. I think he's that guy that can seriously make a crack for the top 5 and eventually possibly a title shot. Without a doubt. He's got time. He's just very hungry. Looked fantastic in the UFC so far. And he can just keep fighters guessing. I honestly think no matter how good they are. Now, I think Aldo will be able to probably edge the first round or the second round. It'll be one of the two. I think he'll really start probably sway the momentum in the second. I think Mario Bautista, that speed in the first round will really start, getting Aldo questioning and be like, okay, I didn't realize he was this quick. I think he'll pop off. I think he'll just beat Aldo on volume. Try and secure the takedowns there. Possibly try and go for the takedowns. Aldo stuffs him, but then still gets control in the clinch against the cage. And then I think in the third round, if the cardio's holding up, which I definitely think it will, cardio's been no issue for Bautista in any of his fights. I think if the third round, Aldo isn't hitting that body, which I'm saying he's not. I think Mario Bautista just outlands Jose Aldo in the third round, with Aldo slowing down more so, and I think he just steals that decision win. And Bautista getting this win against Aldo, he could be asking for a top 5. So it's going to be a very interesting fight. Definitely check this one out, because it could go either way ultimately, but I'm backing Bautista. Now, moving on to the co-main event with the bantamweight women's division for the title, we have Raquel Pennington versus Julianna Pena. Now, this one, just like the last one, is a very tough call, because both of these girls, they are on the older side, and Pennington, she has performed pretty well recently. But Pena, obviously, she's had the greater success. Pennington got KO'd by Amanda Nunes, and then Pena has obviously submitted Amanda Nunes. Pennington, she just has, I think it's pretty clear to say, she's got better striking, that's for sure. Her boxing's a lot cleaner, great jabs and great flurries. I mean, if we're comparing their flurries, Pennington is like the Michael Jordan of flurries, and then Julianna Pena is like the garbage man of flurries, because Julianna Pena is horrific when she is coming forward in striking exchanges. She literally just wings punches that I don't even know what you call them. I don't even know I don't even think they actually managed to fit into a category. They just kind of like a random pot shot. She's moving forward. I mean, you've seen the second Amanda Nunes fight, she gets dropped on her ass because she did it. Now, Raquel Pennington could honestly do the same thing. She's got great timing on her strikes. As I said, very good jabs, good overhands as well, especially like looping overhands when it comes to finishing her combinations. And overall, she's just more well-rounded. She's just a bit more put together. Pena, terrible striking. And she's been out for 2 years because she broke her ribs. And the biggest issue with that is the best part of her game is obviously her ground game. Her ground game is pretty suffocating, better than Pennington's overall, I will say. Pena is just ultimately the higher pedigree of a ground game specialist when it comes to especially women's bantamweight, without a doubt. But the rib injury is a concern, even if it's healed or not. Still, it's taken a lot of time out. It's taken time out of her prime as well, gone from 33 to 35. That's a big time frame to miss. And Pennington, she also trains out of Denver, Colorado. So better for conditioning, especially in this kind of matchup specifically. So Pennington is someone that I'm pretty confident will be able to go for the 5 rounds. And overall, I think Pena, with the ground game, she is a dog. You know, you can't count her out. Even though she got pieced up in the second Amanda Nunes fight, cuts everywhere, she still didn't back out. She still made it to the end. And I think she's going to make it a dog fight. I think they both will. I genuinely think this will actually be a good fight. The more I look at it, I was not interested in it beforehand, but I think this actually will turn out to be a good fight, a very scrappy one. Maybe not too many, you know, good actual combinations or anything, but we move. I think Pena will be able to take the first 2 rounds based off control. I think she'll be able to do a good job of frustrating Pennington early, just getting a really good feel of the ground game, just really smothering her. But then I think Pennington is the one that's just going to be fitter. I think she's going to be fitter. She's going to be able to utilize her striking a lot better through the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. And that's where I think she's going to edge the decision 48-47 purely off of the final rounds, those championship rounds, to retain the title. And moving on to the main event, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Oh, this is just going to be an absolute barn burner. Everyone's going to be going home early because this is not going far. This fight is not going far. Someone is getting chinned badly. Like, both of these guys just are a recipe for disaster stylistically. Khalil Rountree is obviously going around saying that he's not going to take Alex Pereira down. I'm pretty confident he's not taking Alex Pereira down. Statistics back it up. You can't doubt him. He has not landed or even attempted a takedown in his whole entire UFC career. And going against Alex Pereira, if they get in, honestly, this could end in the first round without a doubt. If they don't even do I mean, I assume they're going to do their reads, but first or second round, it's got to end. I'll be extremely surprised if it makes it to the 3rd, because both of these guys have extremely dangerous check hooks. Now, check hooks in any form of exchange are the things that usually clean people up and send them to the hospital. Pereira, we obviously know, has a kill switch, and Khalil Rountree is just an absolute menace. Khalil Rountree, I'm not gonna lie, like, he's been counted out a lot. Obviously, he's $4.50 underdog. If Rountree gets aggressive and can time himself properly against Pereira and put Pereira on the back foot, Pereira's in trouble. Like, if Pereira can't land a clean left hook, Rountree could spark him out. There's a huge chance of that happening. I mean, he's got much less reach. 3.5 inch reach disadvantage here, but if he's closing that distance and making it aggressive, there's a chance. He can't stand at distance with Pereira. No chance. Absolutely no chance, because Khalil's a very good Muay Thai based fighter, but that's where his knees and his elbows are coming in clutch. Khalil needs to close the distance as fast as possible. He either taking him down, which he probably won't do, or he just needs to get into a very good clinch exchange and just fucking hope for the best. Because if Pereira's hitting the chin, he's dropping like a sack of shit. I mean, he's been taken out by Ion Cutelaba, he's been taken out by Johnny Walker. If those guys are taking him out, Alex Pereira is going to decapitate him. Like, let's just be honest here. The power of Pereira is ridiculous. He's a champion for a reason. Now with O'Malley gone, he is the face of the UFC, clear, without a doubt, for a reason. Khalil's just got to close the distance. I mean, there's not much else to say about it. Alex Pereira, though, I can't see him losing, to be honest. I mean, there's that chance, as I said, for Khalil, but Alex Pereira, if he gets that just opportunity to dictate that pace and really start going, obviously get his signature leg kicks going, rips to the body. Now we know he has head kicks, taking out Jiri Prochazka. He's just getting more and more and more dangerous. Age isn't a factor for this guy because he barely has to go into any further rounds unless he's fighting someone as good as Adesanya, because he's just taking Jamahal out, he's taking Jiri out, he's taking everyone out instantly. So yeah, I think Alex Pereira, I think we're getting a clean hook in the exchange, and I think he is going to split Khalil Rountree from consciousness at the end of the first round. Moving on to the fight card awards, kicking it off with fight of the night, we obviously have Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. These guys are just going to be able to put on a show because they're both fairly durable. They both have very good striking. You have Jose Aldo, who has the takedown defense. You have Bautista, who has a great takedown arsenal. It's a fight where there's a lot of questions, and a lot of questions in a fight makes a great fight. And there's a lot of stakes on the line here as well. Aldo obviously being able to stay, at the top rung of the division. If he loses this, he could retire because there might not be anything there for him. So huge stakes for him. Mario Bautista beating honestly, he arguably is the GOAT of the division along with Volkanovski. Mario Bautista, if he puts that name on his record, he could be looking at top 5 straight up. So I think ultimately with their durability, their striking styles, and obviously the unknowns and the threats at the ground game, I think this is the fight of the night that you have to watch. Now, moving on to upset of the night, I'm giving it to Wonderboy. I mean, I got to give it to Wonderboy. He is the underdog here. The only other underdog I picked was Hubbard, and I'm not picking Hubbard over Wonderboy, obviously. Wonderboy has been pretty vocal about not being allowed on the main card. He is the feature prelim, and he said he's going to show why that's a mistake. And honestly, I'm confident in him. I think he is going to absolutely show the UFC why that's a mistake. A striker this fantastic, just this unique, no matter his age, no matter him being 41, it doesn't matter. He is always fantastic to watch, and I am super keen to see him, and I'm super keen to see him take out Joaquin Buckley and hopefully get a very good fight moving up the division again. And moving on to the fighter to watch, I'm giving it to Mario Bautista, because if he, obviously, I've said it before, if he beats Jose Aldo, there is so many opportunities for him to moving forward, and I did list him in my underrated fighters in every division video for a reason. He is no joke. He's 31 years old. He's got a couple years left. Great takedowns. He's got jiu-jitsu. He's got very fast hands, good striking, very aggressive, uses Muay Thai based striking as well. He's got good knees. He's basically a complete package there. He just needs the names on his record. And moving on to finish of the night, we are going with Jamahal. We just have to go with Jamahal. Pereira is just the face of the UFC for that reason. He is just killing everyone. Killing Jiri, as we can see. He's killing Jamahal, and Jamahal has the biggest amount of cope known in humankind, which is fucking hilarious. And then we have obviously Khalil as the next victim. I think Pereira, I just don't see him slowing down here. If Khalil can get it done, kudos to him, because he's had a very long road in the UFC, coming through the Ultimate Fighter all the way through, having losses, having wins, going back and forth, just grinding out hard. Obviously, he had the issue when it came to the PEDs, the positive test, and then all that. I mean, Joe Rogan talks about that a lot more on his podcast, so he explains a lot better than I will, so definitely watch that. And yeah, so ultimately, Khalil's gone through a long road, so if he can get it done, kudos to him, but I just don't see him getting past the power of Alex Pereira. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you also enjoy UFC 307 coming up on the weekend. And please like, comment, subscribe. It really goes a long way for the channel, and I will catch you on the next one.